What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? And welcome back to a very sunny and hot day on the Life on Autos YouTube channel. So as you guys can already see, the weather here is beautiful here today. Very, very hot, very sunny. It's just awesome. I love this kind of weather, and it makes for the perfect video conditions, because when it's just crappy weather every day, you can't make good videos and make them interesting and content-filled and all that. But yeah, today's video, by the title that you guys have already seen, it is indeed regarding the 1971 Moto Mobilette moped. And something pretty terrible happened with this yesterday. So basically what happened is I actually had to replace the back tube in the tire here because it went bad and it got a little tiny nick in the tube, and that caused for the whole tire to have to come off of the whole bike. So then once I took the tire off, switched it all over using an old bike tube from a bike up at the cottage up north. So I did all that, and yeah, that was great. Switched everything over, tightened up the tire, and it looked great. And then when my dad got home, he wanted to take it out for a spin. So I was like, okay, great. I got it all tightened up. He came home, he checked it. He was like, okay, great. Like, great job for fixing that. You're very handy, which I'm not typically all that handy when it comes to that kind of stuff, like fixing stuff. But yesterday I was, until he took it out for a drive. Didn't get very far. He made it out to about the end of the driveway, pulled it on the choke, started pedaling, and then the engine roared to life. And then about 4 seconds later, he came up to about the garage right in there. I know it's very, very bright today. Sorry about that. But he came up to the garage over there, and yeah, flames shot up. And then he was like, oh, so he jumped like right off the back of it here, like right over the basket, and he was shocked. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and grab the fire extinguisher. And then he was like, no, we need water. I was like, no, fire extinguisher. So I ran over to the neighbors next door. The neighbor came out. He helped me. He ran over with his fire extinguisher. And all I can say is that the flames were pretty high. And I mean, luckily the structure is still intact here. But yeah, there is some pretty significant damage, which I don't think that this moped will be back on the road for a very long time, because I don't think it's even worth it getting it fixed anymore. It was a lot of fun. I had a ton of fun on this thing, but I mean, things do happen in life, so you just got to move on and look at the better scenario, and that is that my dad was not hurt from the flame. He looked down and the flames were right by his shoes, he said. But yeah, and then once we got that fire extinguisher, it was just getting bigger. So I'm just so glad that nothing bigger happened. The fire was put out. And yeah, everybody's okay, everybody's safe. But the thing that did take the significant damage was indeed the moped. So now it's time to look at the after damage of the fire. So this thing is like 48 years old now. So I mean, it is pretty old, and I mean, it should have never got fixed in the first place, but it was just actually like the whole story about this bike was that it was my grandfather's from 1971 when he bought it brand new. And yeah, so it sat in his backyard shed for about 15 years, and then he got it all fixed up for $385, and it lasted about a month and a half, and then yeah, unfortunately it burnt. And as you can see, I think it might have something to do with like a cracked line in it or something. But if you look really, really closely, like you can see that the engine took damage. I know there's actually a spark plug like right there. But the spark plug's brand new, and there's a whole bunch of other new parts of the bike, like mechanical wise. And the fuel shutoff valve, that is actually new too. Just make sure that like the fuel is always shut off before you get off the bike and start it when you get on the bike. But I mean, I've been really, really good about that. And my dad has been too. I mean, he didn't ride the moped all that much. He rode it about 3 or 4 times. But he actually just wanted to take it for a spin last night, see how it was riding before I got on it. And yeah, I thought that that was a pretty good idea as well, just to see if there was anything like wrong with it. But yeah, we have a much bigger problem on our hands now than what we had originally expected. And I mean, if you look really, really closely here, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but there's actually like a wire down here that's like all fire eaten and all that. So the fire got that. The fire got the side here, like the white panel, it got the yellow. So yeah, I mean, pretty significant damage, but it can be fixed with some tender loving care. And yeah, that is the next project on the Life on Autos YouTube channel. So I mean, maybe you guys are not thinking that this is as bad as it looks, but I mean, I did expect the fire to be a little bit worse, at like how high the flames were at the time. Like, I mean, my neighbor's wife came outside and she was like, like, it was pretty bad at the time. But you know what? I'm just glad my dad made it off safely. I've never seen anybody get off of the moped so quick in all of my life. But yeah, this is the aftermath of the damage for the bike. I mean, I'm looking at it right now going, maybe it could be fixed, but honestly, I don't ever want to ride it again. I just don't. Nor does my dad. I mean, knowing that it happened to him, it would be a lot different. I mean, if it happened to me, because I would actually have had that experience. But it happened to him when he was just starting at 4 seconds of the motor running, come up to the garage right there, and yeah, it's engulfed in flames. But I'm starting to wonder, like, if it was maybe a little tiny spark that ignited the fire, and that was the result of it. But I'm not too sure. Like, it could have been anything. It could have been like a little droplet of gas that went down on the wire. But yeah, it could have been a lot of things, and we just don't know as of yet. But what I can say is that I am indeed glad that I did not call the fire department, because that is something that I would usually have done if it was like maybe something bigger. But at the time, that just didn't cross my mind. I saw my neighbor's garage open, I saw a fire extinguisher, so I knocked on his front door, because I've honestly never used a fire extinguisher before. But my first thought was, you know what, my dad's safe on it, he's off of it, and yeah, that's about it. But I mean, I'm sure that somebody could actually repair like the structure of this. It's not really like the structure, it's just like the condition of the structure here. Like, I mean, it's all still intact, like the structure itself, but it does have damage to it, like that white panel, like I did show you guys down here. But yeah, I mean, maybe somebody will fix it. I don't know if that is possible, because the motor is probably shot by now. But yeah, we're in a pretty weird situation here. Like, I mean, this thing, I've only really had it here for a month and a half in total. And then the other rest of the time, it's been sitting in my grandfather's shed. And once he got it fixed, $385 gone. The tire goes. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to get a tube for it, because then the company, Mobilet, wanted, I think it was like $400 for 2 new tires and tubes. Some of you might be thinking, no, like that's nothing. Why didn't you do it? Like, you're stupid for not doing that. But at that time, I just wanted to see if maybe how long the moped would last. Because, I mean, you don't expect something of 50 years to just ride flawlessly after sitting in cold Canadian winters in a cold shed, not being started for 15 years. Like, you just don't expect something to start and run well after that happens for that amount of time. But I guess our only real thing that we can do now is clean it up, at least just clean up the outside, and drain all the gas out of it and put it as an antique in our basement. And I mean, some of you might be like, oh, you're so stupid for putting that in your garage, like, or putting it in your basement. Like, why do you want something that's gas powered in your basement? But honestly, it's not a big deal. It's not like a spark's gonna hit it. If there's no gas in it, and if there's nothing else flammable on it, I mean, the fire's out. The fire's not coming back. And I only wish that I got it on footage of the fire starting, because that would have actually been pretty interesting to see where it all started, because I didn't realize until I just popped around the corner and I saw him jump off of it. So like, I didn't see exactly where it all happened, but I just know that it took a pretty significant damage to it. So this moped is indeed 48 years old. So it does have some imperfections on it, and that being like how old it is. Its age is definitely a big factor in the way that it looks. I mean, it is in great condition for its age, but yeah, it did take a pretty significant beating yesterday from the fire. And as you can already tell, it's not in the same condition as it was before the fire, not even close. It was like really, really shiny, smooth, and it looked amazing, like all this chrome here. It was just like brand new. Like, the bike looked brand new. And now it's just damaged. Like, as you can tell here, this took significant damage. Like, there's lots of black marks, the white from the fire extinguisher. This white panel, it's just like a panel, so you just screw that off with those 2 nuts and bolts. And then those 2 wires up in here, 3 wires, they all got damaged from the fire as well, as you can see. So I mean, once again, the moped, it's not in the same condition that it was before all of this occurred. And I mean, as you can see, it's like all down here, it's all like black in parts. That actually might be a bit of oil. But yeah, I don't trust this thing anymore. I personally would not ride it again if it were to get fixed. But yeah, there is really significant damage. Like, I don't know if that's coming off, probably not, because it was actually like a lot of heat. And up here, I mean, on the chrome, this like might actually rub out. There's a chance of it rubbing out, because it's just, maybe I could use like buff it out or something, like polish it. But I don't know. I just don't know if it's really worth it, you know? It's just maybe better off as a good antique. Drain the gas once again, bring it inside, and do that with it. But until then, I really don't know what the plans are going to be with this moped. And I will mention that there was actually a ton of pouring gas out from it when my neighbor came over to shut off the gas line, because my dad was just sort of like, he was in shock. Same with me. Like, I never expected the moped to be on fire. I mean, I expected maybe something to go wrong mechanically, but I never expected it to start a big fire. And from what I had seen from the front angle, was I had seen a big flame shoot up here. And then it went down, and then when I looked over, I could see just flames here. So it did touch my dad's shoe. But yeah, I mean, I still wish that I had that on footage for you guys, but I don't, unfortunately. So we can't really see exactly where it started, because I do wish that I still could have seen exactly where the first flame came from. So I'll give you guys sort of like a quick rundown of where the fire all happened. So I had finished working on it in the garage right here. I pulled it out of this other garage here. Then my dad had rode it out here into the driveway, probably to about down the road there. Came around, looped around right here, around the house, and it all happened right here. This is where the fire started, and this is where the fire was put out. So yeah, I mean, he looped around out of the garage, had the choke on, because you need the choke to start it, and you have to be pedaling to get it to start. But he came out here into further down in the driveway, looped around, and it started. And the first flame that I did see was from the front once again. And I'm just glad, because usually we started in the garage with the kickstand on, because it's really, really tough to get it started when pedaling. But I just had that feeling. I was like, you know what, just start pedaling today, have the kickstand up. I told him that, and he was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll give that a try. Because I mean, I have actually in total spent more time on the moped than he has. But I mean, it's definitely a good learning experience in the end. So here's the new cursed spot in the driveway. And speaking of which, it is right in front of the Kawasaki door where the Terex 4 is sitting. And yeah, we've had some pretty bad luck with that lately too, with the angry neighbor. If you guys have already seen that, I'll show you right there. But yeah, we had an angry neighbor threatening to take it away. Yeah, you've already seen that. If you haven't, go check it out. But yeah, I've been cursed lately with like everything. Hoverboard broke from the snow. And it's not like I'm just trying to make like negative videos every day. I'm like, oh my god, this keeps breaking and all that. But you know what? Things break at some point. Sometimes they break a lot more than you expect them to. But I mean, in the end, you just have to be thankful that you're not hurt, and that, you know, things can be replaced, lives can't. So guys, I think the next part is to look back and show you guys all of the fun times that we've had on the moped in the past while. So let's do that right now. Okay guys, so after you have seen those fun times that we've had in the moped over the month and a half to 2 months that we have had it, it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I am definitely going to miss it. But yeah, that being said, things happen in life, but even though when they do, you just got to keep moving on, get through it, and just look forward and be thankful that nothing really bad happened. I mean, something really bad that would have happened is if my dad was hurt or if I was hurt from the moped. Luckily, we made it away from the incident safely, and the only damage was the moped. But guys, you know what? That's, I guess, it for the moped. But it's definitely still a fun thing just to look at and have as a fun memory, as an antique in our home. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy today's upload, and if you guys are stopping by the channel for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe, and also feel free to drop a like and a comment down below, because I would really appreciate all of your support. So thanks again guys for stopping by the channel. If you are new, please click the subscribe button, drop a like, comment, and also comment on future videos that you'd like to see on the channel, and I will be sure to make that happen. So once again guys, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in the next upload. Peace.